Hi folks, I have just gotten my hands on the higher level Irish paper 2, so I'm going to take you through a couple of the questions that came up on the paper today. So first off, starting off with our reading comprehensions, we had 2 reading comprehensions, lovely questions. That question 6a, no surprises there. Tishel Ginnadoch, we had Brí Sear, we had that Mo Cnealoch, that conditional mood questions. And again, the question 6b's were all based again on the students' opinions of the characteristics of a poet or how the passage actually affected or influenced the students as well. Very nice, very, very straightforward questions. Moving on then, we had our question 2 again. We have our prose story questions in which we have 2 parts we can answer from, either Cálca Millish or we could have done Harlem Bock. Now this was a very, very rewarding question for an awful lot of the students out there. No surprises here. Repeat questions kind of came up a couple of years ago, the relationship between Catherine and Paul, and again in the Harlamabok question, Lisheen, the influence of Lisheen on her family and on her life and her mentality as well. Nice rewarding questions for students who would have done past exam papers. Now moving on from the prose questions, we go on to our poetry, which is our question number 3. Beautiful questions again, very rewarding, very accessible and very, very fair questions. We have on Tardak here, which came up, lovely questions about the views and the scenes, the importance of repetition at the end of on Tardak here, and again a beautiful question, the life and work of the poet itself. Now, I'm sure there was elation and joy around the country today when they opened up the paper and saw Col Scaru. Fantastic questions on Col Scaru again, folks. We have the 2 differences of opinions on Col Scaru. We have the effectiveness of the last line in Col Scaru according to the student. And again, a wonderful question, the life and the work of the poet. Again, beautiful all-rounded questions. So far, lovely, fair and accessible paper. So let's move on then to question number 4. Question number 4 is our literary piece in which we have a couple of options to pick from. So vast majority of students would do on Trial. Now this might have presented a little bit of a challenge. This might have actually presented a little bit of a challenge for students. But again, quite a rewarding question if you sit back and think realistically about the question of Pádraig and the influence he had on actually Moira ní Cahasig an sin and how she pays quite dearly for it. So while it would have looked like a quite challenging question at the start, a couple of minutes to sit back, to plan and to think about actually what the question would mean would definitely have rewarded the higher level students on our paper. So overall, a very fair and accessible paper and a very rewarding paper for students who would have put in a little bit of time going through past exam questions. Definitely lots of places to shine for those top students, those H1s, those H2s with that question 6a, the grammar question, that question 6b, the opinion piece, and definitely that on-trial question about Pádraig and his influence on Moira. But overall, a very, very, very rewarding paper. Folks, well done on paper 2.